Okay, so tell me about yourself. What's your name and what do you do?
Univac, and I do circuit bending of electronic kids' toys.
Okay, so you turn old kids' toys into new musical instruments.
Right, into new gadgets, instruments that are interesting sort of visually and also very functional as electronic instruments.
Okay, and so what do you have there? What's that one?
This is made from a Microsoft Teletubby, and this is the case for it, so it slides inside. And so the screen was formerly on the tummy of the tubby.
And that's a push button, right?
Yep, and so this is a push button, and these buttons equate to the hands and feet. So I will give you a demonstration.
Which the kid, with the hands and feet, the kid would squeeze. They had buttons on it
Right.
to make it say...
It would advance the games. It would have different games. So it's an interactive kids game. It's actually quite a sophisticated piece of technology to try this. So it's pretty good.
So you ripped out the circuit board from inside the Teletubby and stuck it in the box.
Right. I don't know if you can see this, but this is...
Okay.
So that's what I've done to it. Added all the switches.
All right. So what does it sound like?
It sounds like this.
Was that display used on the Teletubby original? Okay.
Yeah, it's a multicolor LED display, and it would have characters and shapes, Tubby Custard, Cookie Time, all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
All the different Teletubby games.
Ooh. Stopped.
Oh yeah, actually I found that if I touch this, it changes. It actually changes the display with my touch too, which is kind of interesting.
And so has anyone used this for a performance?
I have several times, yeah. And these are now, this is part one of an edition of 12 that I'll be doing of all the different colors. I'll be doing 3 of each color. Each in different custom cases and boxes and stuff. So.
And you sell these also, yeah?
Yeah, I sell them at a place called Robot Speak in San Francisco, and also through my website, techweave.com.
Okay. And so what's the other one you have over there?
This one is made out of a Speak and Math, a Texas Instruments Speak and Math.
And that's a toy aimed at 7-year-olds or something, yeah?
Right, in the 80s. It was an educational toy in the 80s at Texas Instruments. They had a Speak and Read, Speak and Spell, Speak and Math, and Speak and Music.
Okay.
So this basically generates a loop. You can lock the loop in and then advance the loop to different positions. And this is a selector for the different games that were available. And this is a human contact resistance point that you can touch to change the pitch. And this over here is an optical resistor that gets it into a really interesting optical crash mode, which will just sit and sort of play itself for an hour and just go glitching all over the place and do really weird stuff.
It's a kind of a random...
Yeah, it sort of gets the chip into a state where it just isn't getting the right voltage, and so it's just randomly spewing a bunch of random glitchy phonemes and bits.
Seems to have stopped.
And then it crashes.
Okay, and that's your reset button.
This is the reset button, yeah.
Okay. Can you hold it up to the camera so we can see the display?
Yeah. You see that?
Okay, yeah. It's not doing a lot though. Actually, it's sort of flashing.
It requires a certain amount of work probably. So let's see if I can do it sideways like this.
Okay, and so what's the case made out of? How did you make that?
The case is just colored boxes from the Container Store, and I just took a top from a red and a bottom and painted them, added them, and cut the little access port out for the audio out and also the power. I wasn't able to fit a battery pack into it properly, so I added an external power source. So yeah, the container store is a great source for boxes. This and this are also container store. Yeah, and here's the inside. So that's just the whole entire board from the Speak and Math inserted inside. Kind of what I have is I have a multi-position switch on the top, which actually uses it as an anchor point. So it anchors the board into the box. So you sort of slide it over it, and then it locks it into position so it doesn't move around that much. So. Yeah, this one I made an addition of 3 of these. I think they turn out pretty nice. They're fun.
Can you make some more sounds?
Yeah, definitely. Some of them are really nice, very beautiful. Crazy.
And you don't always know what sound it's going to make.
You hear a lot of the same sounds, but once in a while, because you're sort of shifting throughout the entire group of the phonemes of the, they're not really samples, it's all FM synthesized voice. So you sort of go through the presets that it has, and you stop it at a point, and then it just starts looping from that point. So you'll get to the same place sometimes, but most of the time you sort of randomly find really, like I haven't heard this sound before. This is a nice, very unusual sound. And then of course you go run for the recorder to try and capture it. Yeah, so the whole point of the circuit bending thing, for me at least, I've been doing it for since like 1996. What I strive for is beautiful aesthetics for the packaging, but also just trying to sort of dig out sounds that no one has ever heard before. These are sounds that the manufacturer never intended to come out of these machines. If these started making this at the factory, they would have thrown these away. So I'm trying to get inside and recapture those sounds and try to get them out. And it sounds that no one's ever heard before. So, and that's what's exciting to me, to sort of rediscover sounds that were discovered for the first time.
And they're surprisingly sophisticated, aren't they, these circuits and the kind of things they can do.
Yeah.
Is this the classic?
Yeah, most people do speak in spells, speak in math, speak in reads. The speak in maths I find tend to have a lot more variety of sounds, sort of more visceral sounds. The speak in spells, which are very, very common, most people do, have a pretty nice variety of sounds too. And but I really like the speak in maths a lot. So, but I'm kind of trying to go towards things that people haven't done before. Like I've never seen anyone else do one of the Teletubby series, or so you take just the most innocuous, stupid things like this. This is the Staples Easy button, and if you can find the pitch resistor to change the clock speed, then you add a pot or an optical resistor, or use human contact resistance to change the speed, and then you get
That was easy.
There's the sound that's normal.
That was easy. That was easy. That was easy. That was easy. That was easy.
So any little stupid device can make an incredible amount of noise. And then you can get really cool, subtle clicky clicks. So I like finding these are like like a sort of an exercise bend for me. It's like, how can I fit all of the parts into a tiny little case in a stupid thing that has pretty much hardly any bending capability, as far as just you find a clock
Okay,
resistor.
because all that says is easy, right? Oh, that was
This
easy.
was a very easy one to
Yeah.
do. So this is the Staples.
And how
Easy button.
much extra electronics did you put into it?
I added an audio output, and I added a pot, which is a 1 meg pot. And the meg pot didn't fit into the circuit board. The circuit board is ridiculously easy. There's 2 resistors on it, It's a large flat resistor, or a flat board that has mostly ground, and one of the resistors was clock, the other one was part of the triggering mechanism, and I just replaced the clock resistor with the 1 meg pod. And I had to cut part of the board out to fit this inside, and then just bridged the points that I had cut on the board. And so it was a nice engineering challenge for me to be able to fit this inside of this tiny little button, because I like having things self-contained. You know, this you can just throw in your pocket and bring it out and freak people out. So, and so doing little small ones, because these complex ones take a long time for me to build, so it's nice to sort of take breaks and do like weird little afternoon simple bends. And, you know, and then they're just stupid, you know, it's ridiculous.
So what else have you done? Which other devices, which other toys?
I've done some of the Billy Bass series. I call it Billy Bastards. Those are fun. I have a bunch of those I'm waiting to do more of, but I've done 2 of those. I've done, the Opera Daisies were probably, that was my first series that I did, and it was a series of these electronic flower pots that sing the Daisy song. Daisy, Daisy, out in the morning dew, with this horrible woman's voice singing it. And so I basically kept, for the most part, the casing, removed one of the flowers, put a nose and mouth latex piece from a CPR dummy replacement nose and mouth, and then completely repainted, and then took the original box and repainted, so it made it an entire coherent presentation. And that one's a really, really nice, very unique instrument. The control is 2 optical resistors on the leaves, which not only have optical control over the pitch in combination, but the 2 points that each of the optical resistors have on the bottom of the leaves, you can touch with your 2 fingers to then add your human contact resistance into the entire circuit, thereby changing it. So you have up to 6 different control points. And it's very difficult to master. I've sold several of these to people, and it takes about a month for them to master it. And once they do, it blows their mind. The amount of incredible variety of noise that comes out of these things is quite amazing. And so that's really nice. And so when you play it, you just sort of grasp the leaves and you touch the undersides and you use your thumbs to block the light on the resistors. And you can also use flashing LEDs. Much of my pieces I use optical resistors for pitch control. The reason why it's really nice is not only that you can move your hand over it to change the sound somewhat like an optical theremin, but you can use little blinky LEDs to then become optical sequencers. And optical resistors are sensitive to different wavelengths of light differently. So therefore, if you get like a little blinking ring or a blinking amulet or any kind of cheesy blinking LED thing, it becomes effectively a different sequence, because the sequence of the lights are flashing and the colors are different. And so therefore, each time you do that, you put it on the leaf or any optical resistor and a clock control, you have effectively an optical sequence. And what's really nice is when you do performance, instead of seeing some dude behind a laptop, I'll be there with a bunch of crazy toys, and then the audience sees a light flash, and they hear the sound change in unison to the light flash, so you get a direct connection of what's going on. So it's not just like some guy behind a screen. You actually get this visceral quality, visceral experience of what's actually going on.
That's the worst thing with electronic music, isn't it? It's very...
It's like, just go home and like listen to the CD, buy the CD, and just listen to it at home instead of having to pay a bunch of money and watch some guy up on stage you can barely see behind a laptop. It's so boring.
Exactly.
I mean, I integrate a PowerBook into my work also, PowerBook work, but I usually use Max MSP patches to cut up circuit bent audio for some of the gadgets that are not performance friendly. So like they're very difficult to perform with live. I'll take the sounds and sample them and then cut them up and then use them as beds for the live performances, so the live toys. So.
Okay, and so you're going to be showing some of these toys down at the Maker Faire?
Right, on the 23rd of April, Maker Faire.
And that's down in down the valley?
I think it's down around Santa Clara, Okay. So it'll be part of the lounge. We'll be doing a talk about experimental instrument making.
Okay, great.
So,
Okay, cool. I think that'll be good.
Excellent.
Isn't this a beautiful
Did that actually record? Yeah, it is. Thank God for that.
That would have been
It's
terrible.
actually counting down here.